Welcome to Finding the Right Resource, the launch of Support Guide as a part of the California Newcomer Project. So we are Solvera. We're in partnership with the California Department of Social Services Refugee Programs Bureau. And this is a specific project, the California Newcomer Project, that has been designed for uh, any individual serving an ORR population across the entire state of California. The project has four main areas that we're working in and four different kind of ways to engage. So you can give us feedback. We're going to come to different regions and do meet and greets. You're here, right? You're at this webinar. You're joining us for a session, and you're also going to get an orientation to the information exchange and the provider directory within Support Guide, which is kind of your online hub for resources, finding other providers, these webinars, all of the components that we are producing to support those serving newcomers in California. Some of the sessions we've already done, we're doing them kind of every third Thursday at about 10 a.m. So if you've been with us before, you've seen Maximizing Impact. That was about what free resources, in addition to kind of the basics that are out there for your clients. Real-time tools for working with distressed clients. It's a harder time than ever in the work, and we're kind of constantly having to give clients hard news. And so how do we do that in a way that supports them as well? And today's session, finding the right resource, the launch of Support Guide. By the time we end today, you're going to be able to identify at least a few platform that we've put together. And I'm to create or update your agency's profile so other people can find you, clients are able to navigate to you, and some other pieces as well. A few housekeeping items today. All participants are on mute. If you are media, please step out of the room. We're glad you're here, but this is just for providers. The question and answer box is live. So the chat is not enabled, but you can upvote questions. So you can put them there. We'll get to them through the session or at the very end of the session. There's a designated Q&A time. If someone else's question kind of already resonates with what you think, go ahead and give it an upvote. We'll know that there's several people who have the same or a similar question. We are going to launch a Zoom poll. There is a survey for you to complete at the very end. Let us know how it went, what you want to know more about. We read every single response. There's also a space on that survey to request future topics. So if there's kind of a burning thing that you want addressed, we'll take that. We'll look at it kind of in trends across what we're seeing across the state and RPB priorities, and you might see it as a future topic. Finally, this is being recorded, and you will get access to the full recording as well as the slides following this session. So take notes if you'd like, but just know you're going to get all of this as well. One of the things we like to do as we open these sessions is kind of virtually find out who's in the room. So you'll see a poll that comes up on your window here in just a moment. Just has two questions. Let us know where you're located, right? Kind of what county are you in? And then how long have you been providing services to refugee, asylee, kind of think ORR populations in general? We'll hold this question open for about 30, 45 seconds. So go ahead and give an answer in there. We've got about 73 people in the room. About 25 has answered, so keep them coming. All right. Currently, it looks like we're mainly coming from kind of the Northern California, kind of a Northern California and Southern California split here in the room for those who've answered, and a good mix of how long folks have been providing refugee services. So thank you for that. It also helps us understand kind of how to tailor the information today based on who's here with us. And so again, with kind of expectation setting and who's in the room, the things that we're going to be going over today is Support Guide, right? The resource finder, which is this online space, a map of where you can, if you want to find agencies by type, by what the services they do, and also visually where they're located. The provider directory and more about how to engage and really customize those tools for you and for folks trying to find you. we're not going to be talking today about things that might be missing or other resource websites, though we know that there are a lot of wonderful websites and resources out there. Today, we're just focusing on this one. A few things that we always try to encourage us to do as we come into a learning environment. We're going to embrace curiosity. We're going to work with mutual respect and knowing that this is a learning environment. And so no question is off, is wrong, but put it in there. We're going to try to address as many as we can. Share your feedback, especially at the end in that survey. And anytime we're doing these, we always reflect on our why. For all of us in the room, that's to impact our communities in a positive way, support our colleagues, and continue to stay connected to our mission. So that's kind of how we're bringing our session in today. And without further ado, I will hand it over to Carissa, who will be taking us through the demonstration today. So thanks, everybody.
Excuse me. Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with what we're all here for today, and that's the newly updated support guide. So I'm going to get us going over there. If you can, I feel like we should all be able to see. If I could get a thumbs up from somebody on my team that we are all good on sharing. Thank you so much.
Looking good.
Awesome. So thank you so much for everyone joining us today. As Hannah mentioned, we're excited to focus on the newly updated features of supportguide.org. A lot of you already might be familiar with Support Guide, as we've used it for webinars before, and the resource finder and our Google Map have been on there already. So this is, if you haven't been used to this tool already, you're going to get an overview of what is here on the website, and you're going to get an insight into this new tool, the provider directory that has been updated and worked so hard on. So I'm very excited to show it to you today. So if you go to supportguide.org, this is your landing page, our home page here. And what's great about Support Guide is that we have a couple different things on here for you to access. So we have our provider directory that we will talk a little bit more about later. We have resources and places that you can find different information and resources online. We have our webinars, which you're participating in now. And then we also have previously presented webinars for Ukrainian support. So for example, we have our webinar section. So after today, if you clicked on this webinar tab, you'd be able to scroll down and you can see the information about our webinar series that we're currently hosting. You can see our upcoming webinars, and then you can also access past webinars too. So this is what we've mentioned. This is being recorded, so we will have this on our webinar page shortly after today. Additionally, we have the resource section. This resource finder, you can filter based on what kind of resource you're looking for, the topic, who it would be best for, service providers, clients in the community, or everyone. And then you can also filter it by county and location if you're looking for something hyper specific. So this is also on Support Guide. And then additionally, if you happen to want to look at previous stuff that we've done for the Ukrainian newcomers, there's information there that is always going to be great to access. Today, we are focusing on the provider directory, and there are two ways that you can find it on the website. So we're on our homepage right now. You can, again, click here at the top, directory, and it'll take you to the service provider directory page. I'm going to go back to home and show you the other way that you can access it. If you scroll down, you can see these three boxes here. It's just reiterating what is above on those tabs. So you can find a service provider, the information and resources, and the webinars. So if we click here, find a service provider, that's where we're going to be spending our time today. So on the landing page for the provider directory, you can see you're welcomed with this statement. Now, more than ever, knowing where to go matters. And that is so true, especially with the capacity that we have, the changes that are going on, the needs in the community. It is so important to know what is out there and how to access those resources. So this tool today that we've been working on so diligently is to help alleviate and make resources accessible to service providers, community members, clients, everybody in the community. So we scroll down and we have our service provider directory. I'll do a quick overview of what is on here, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper. So first, you can see that you can select providers in your area based on counties. So we have our counties listed here at the top. And then if you scroll down, we have our interactive Google map. So this interactive Google map, as I said, it is interactive, so you can drag it around. You can zoom in with the zoom feature down here in the bottom right-hand corner. You can zoom out. And what's also great is you can also go full screen if you needed to. So if you click this in the top right-hand corner, this makes the map much larger, and you can do the same things by dragging around and zooming in as well. So if we scroll down, we have our provider list. So when you first get to the provider directory page, everything here is just baseline. So this is all the organizations that are listed in our provider directory. So it's a very long list, and it is organized alphabetically. So also later when you're doing the searches, when you're filtering, it will remain organized alphabetically as well. So you have your Google map, you have the counties, you have our listed of organizations. And say you come to the provider directory page and you're like, I actually already know what agency I'm looking for. You can go to the search box right here. So if I click in there and I'm like, I already know I'm looking for Catholic Charities, I can go ahead and start typing. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I am looking for Catholic Charities of Santa Clara. I can click it and it opens up to that page for that agency. So it opens it up with the map, where it's located, and it has all the information that we'll be going over shortly too. But say you don't know which agency you're looking for, and that's what's great is that we have the ability to filter for you to be able to find what exactly you're looking for. The first place that you can start to filter is by agency type. If you click here, you'll see a drop-down box come up, and we have different types of agencies that you might be looking for. Community-based organizations, food banks, health agencies, legal services, resettlement agencies. You can click the one that you're looking for. For today's example, we're going to click resettlement agency. When we did that, you can see that our map already started to filter out the locations that were not resettlement agencies. And additionally, the provider list here also started to filter them out. So that gives us a reduced amount to look at, but we're looking for a resettlement agency that provides a specific service. So you scroll down and you can see you can filter by service as well. You have things from basic needs to immigration and legal, adult ESL, and you can click the buttons, the little arrows, carrots next to the service area, and it'll also provide more filtered areas that you can find more specific services. So from basic needs, you can look, I'm looking for something that an organization that provides hygiene products, and you'd be able to select that. For today's example, we're going to say we are looking for an employment services program that offers job search and placement. I could click that. And again, it starts to filter out the organizations that we know. It filters it out on the map, and it filters it out in our list that are resettlement agencies providing job search and placement programming at their agency. But I want to take it a step further. Say I'm working in Sacramento and I want to find out what resettlement agencies there provide that service. So I can go back up to the county selections and click Sacramento. And it filtered it even more. It filtered it again on the map. And it filters it in our main list down here. So we went from filtering by agency type, resettlement agency, to the services that we were looking for. And then you can see too, from the county that we're looking for as well. So from here, say we wanted to look at one of these agencies. If I pick Rural Relief Sacramento, click View Details, it'll open it up in a new tab. And this is the agency page. Here you'll see that we have its logo, we have the agency name, the type of organization that it is, its Google Map location, and all the contact information. So we have its address, we have the phone number, email, website, and the service counties. What's great too is I can click directly on this direction spot right here underneath the agency title, and I'll open it up in a new tab. I am currently not anywhere close to this location, so it will say it's going to take me a very long time to get there, but it will show you directions on how to get to that agency based on your location. Do not worry, these will not be 32 hours away from you. Well, I can't say that, maybe it is, but you can find out the directions straight from the map, which is great. Continue to scroll down from the contact information, and this is where you get even more information about the agency that you're looking at. You can see the agency overview. So this gives you a little bit more detail about what type of agency they are, what are they doing in the community, what type of programming do they offer. And so this agency overview at the top is really helpful for people who are looking for specific services. After that, there's 3 sections right below it. We have eligibility and referral, language and populations, and ways to support. Eligibility and referral, right now you can see that it's blank for this agency, but for example, if your agency only served ORR eligible populations, you could only take those kinds of clients, then you could put that information here and make sure that people know that that's the type of client that you're able to serve at that agency. Additionally, maybe for referrals, you only take referrals a certain way, like at a specific phone number or on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. You could put that information here as well. So people are accessing that, getting connected to you in the ways that make sense for your organization. Additionally, you can click languages and populations, and you can provide the languages that you have available on site. And populations, if your agency focus on a specific population, then also you could add those details in this section. Ways to support, you can see here that you can also put, hey, this organization accepts donated goods, accepts financial donations, and accepts volunteers. So this is just another way that organizations can promote the ways that the community can get involved in that agency. So they can accept school supplies, email this email so that you can do that, or make a financial donation this way. And we need more volunteers, visit our website. So this is another place that if you are working on your agency profile, you can put this information. Or if you are looking through the provider directory, you can look and see how else you can support a specific agency. As you scroll down, you'll see programs and services, and this is where you're getting to the nitty-gritty of what does this agency offer. So earlier when we were looking at the filters, you could see all the different program areas that we had, and then all the areas that you could like click and see even further about that agency service. So we got here because we were looking for employment services, job search and placement. So you can see that this was a selected program that they said they offered. And you can see all of the ones that they've selected as well. So that's what we have going on each of the agency profiles. I'm gonna go back here. And so we searched, we found our agency, we saw what programs they offered, and we figured out how we could contact them by looking at the contact information in the agency overview. What's great too is if you wanted to go back to this page and you're like, now I need to do another search, just scroll down and you can click reset filters, and it starts you all over again from all of California and all the agencies listed, and you can do another search. So that's how you can use the provider directory on a daily basis. This is how you can teach clients to use it. If they're looking for specific services, you can get community members, volunteers, accessing the provider directory and searching for services and agencies that are out there in the state of California, in your county, in your community. Another way, though, that we want you to be involved is not just by accessing the provider directory, but participating in it. And one of the first things that you'll need to do is create a free login. So we're going to go here and you can see I can create a login to include my organization in the directory or maintain up-to-date information. We're going to click add and update this red button, and it's going to open us up to a new page. This page is where we're going to be able to interact with our individual profiles or agency profiles as well. So here you can see that there are 3 different things that you can do from this page. You can edit your organization, you can request edit access, or you can add an organization. Now, our hope is that the provider directory is very intuitive for you, that it does not add extra stress on you when you're accessing it, when you're creating your profiles, when you're editing things. However, I want to make sure we go through every step of how to do that so that after today, you're like, I have all the information I need and I can get going. But this may be, it is pretty intuitive. That was our hope. So you might, as I'm showing you things, you might be like, I know how to do this, which is great. And I love the confidence. So I'm just going to walk you through a couple different things. So you'll need to create a free member account. So create a member account or log in. I'll click that. So here it'll open up to a login page. If this is your first time logging in, you'll want to sign up. When you sign up, you'll need to use an email address. You'll sign up via that email address and you'll get a confirmation code to confirm your profile. And then you'll be able to log in from there. I already have an account, so I'm going to log in with my email. Click login. And now I'm in my profile on Support Guide. This opens up to our new page. It's just my organizations. So my organizations right now, they're blank because this is I'm new to Support Guide. It's blank on here. And so this is where we're going to kind of continue to dive in and see what else that we can do on here. So say I logged in, I created my profile. I'm looking to see if my organization is already on Support Guide. Can I go ahead and look to see if my agency is already on there, and then I could request access to that agency. Okay. Whoops, here we go. I'm going to scroll down, use the search feature to see if my agency is there. For today's example, I'm going to just say, hey, I work at Alameda County Community Food Bank. I'm searching, I see it's there. I click it and I'm like, okay, my agency is here. I scroll down, I'm looking at the information. All of that looks good, but I see that there's quite a bit of information that is missing. So I'm like, hey, I actually want to update this. This is my agency that I work at. I'm going to request access to this agency. So at the bottom of the page, you'll see, is this your organization? And request edit access. I'm going to request edit access. So here is going to ask, what is your agency name? Alameda County Community Food Bank. We're putting in the email address that I used to create my profile and my position. I'm just going to put associate. The email that we're using, the reason we need the email is just to see if we needed to contact you for any issues or anything like that. The email is kept private, so we will be keeping that information private. It's not being sent to other people, so just know that. I need to make sure that I click this button here, that I confirm that I work at this organization. And I'm going to submit. Whoops. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, just give me a second. Good thing we're practicing all together to be able to do this. And thank you for your patience. Okay, so this won't happen to you, hopefully, but it's being a little funky for me right now. So I'm just going to keep going and I might need to come back to this. However, this is how you request access. You'll put in the agency that you're looking for, your email that you've used to create your account, and the position at that agency. You'll need to confirm that you work at that agency as well. You'll click submit. And instead of saying, please complete required fields, you'll be seeing something that says success. It's going to be looked at and give us 5 days to look at the information, and then we'll grant access. So if that were to go through how I wanted it to, it would then pop up under my organizations, and I'd be able to edit the organization from there. So again, here it says, remember, it takes up to 5 business days for newly added organizations to appear, or if I'm requesting access, still give us about 5 business days to approve that access. So as we go on, again, that's how you request access. I apologize that it was not just showing successfully right there, but it would pop up under my organizations. So say we know, hey, our agency is not already listed here. It is not in the webs, it is not on the provider directory we searched in our search box on the main page, and it wasn't there. Well, we would love for you to add your organization. This is an interactive resource for the whole community. So the more that you participate in it, the more that we updated it with the accurate information, the better resource it will be for all of you. We'll go back to our profile, and you can see my organizations. You can edit my organization, and you can request access like we just did, and we can add an organization. I clicked add organization, and it reminds you to double check to see if your organization is already listed in the provider directory. Again, if you were listed there, you can request access to it. But we're saying for this example, we are not there. There's not one that we can edit. There's not one that that is already there. We need to add our organization from scratch. So you have your page where you can add an organization. Everything here that is required will have an asterisk beside the item. And there are stuff that you can add if you want to, but it is not required. So, but the more information that you put on the provider directory, the more helpful it'll be for the community and for people who are searching for specific services. For today's example, we're making up a fake agency so that you can see how to do it. So here, this organization is called Pretend Organization. If I had a logo, I would want to select the file and add it here. Logos make it even easier to search, and it just makes us, and then you can confirm that it's the agency that you're looking for. We suggest updating it, uploading an image that's a 1-to-1 ratio, so that's going to be a square. Uploading it that way, it makes it fit the file a lot better. So the description, this is a brief overview of your organization. So I'm just going to say we help ORR eligible populations get access to critical services. That's a very brief description of my agency. The more information you provide, the better, as I've mentioned, but that's what we are going with today for Pretend Organization. For this one, agency type, you can select all that apply because a lot of agencies are multiple types of agencies. So for this example, I'm going to say that we are a community-based organization, and we also provide legal services. So I'm going to click those. If there's not a physical location, you can enter in a zip code, but I'm going to put in address here, 730 I Street. Clicked it here. I'll add in my phone number, the phone number that we want people to use to call this agency. So if you don't want them to call your direct line because you are maybe a program manager and you're like, no, I need them to call the actual office, make sure you put the correct number that you want people to access and use. So we're going to say 555-555-5555. We would put in our website here. For this example, I'm going to just use support guide. And our email. This is the email that we want people to use to contact the agency, not the email that you use to create your account. This is the one that we want for people to access this organization. And this is where we select the counties that are served. Some of your agencies might serve multiple counties, and in that case, you can select all that apply. For this example, I'm just going to go with Sacramento. And then here we'll select all the different types of services and programs that our organization offers. So again, it's broken up into big categories: basic needs, case management, employment services, children, youth and family, health and wellness, immigration and legal, and then adult education ESL. So you'll go in and we'll make sure that we click what all applies to services that people could access at this organization. I'm just going to go through and click a few for this fake organization. And so we have our programs and services selected. Scroll down further, and this is where we can select the languages and populations that are able to be served at this organization and what languages we have there. So maybe on staff, I already have people who can speak Spanish and Portuguese, but we also have telephonic interpretation. So we can really work with all populations that come in because we have the ability to help with translation no matter the language. And then for populations, you can click individual ones, or I can, if, for example, we work with all populations at this fake agency, I can click that as well. As you continue to scroll down, this is where those other sections on the profile are, where we can put information on eligibility and referrals. So we're saying we only work with ORR. Populations. And if I wanted to put more information about how to make a referral, I could put it there. So I could say, call this number on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to schedule an appointment for a referral, or email this email directly for referrals. I could put that information in that box. Ways to support. This is where we could put, hey, we accept tangible donations, in-kind goods. Please drop them off on Tuesdays from 5 to 7. Or I could say, we accept financial donations, use this link to see how to do that. Or we are looking for interns or volunteers. You could put that information here. It's another platform for people to know how to engage with your organization. Again, you can select here. We provide internships at this organization, and we accept volunteers, we accept donated goods and financial donations. So we have all of our information entered on this pretend organization profile that we're adding to the support guide directory. I'll scroll back down using the same email as my member login. I confirm that I work at pretend organization, so we'll make sure that that's clicked. Again, this email is private. It's not going to be shared. It's only used if follow-up is needed. And I'll click submit. So once you see that it's submitted, you'll get this notification here at the bottom. Your organization has been submitted. Please allow our team 5 business days to review. So we've submitted it. And now if we go back to my profile on Support Guide, we can see pretend organization is there. Since I've submitted it, it's now showing up under my organizations. Once it's approved, it'll have status approved next to it as well. And other people will be able to search it and look for it on the provider directory. And if the Alameda County Food Bank one ended up working earlier, that would also be listed here. So you could have multiple organizations listed in your profile, and you'd be able to access them to make edits and changes as necessary. It is important to note that only one person per agency can own the account for that agency and make all the edits. So if you are adding an agency, work with your team to decide who should have the access to making those updates, so that it's clear and you know who in your organization needs to make those updates if things change at your organization. So say I have my organization here and I'm like, oh, we have some things that have changed and I need to edit it. I can click edit my organization. It'll open up to this page and it'll say select agency to update. In the drop-down box, I have pretend organization listed there. Since this is my only organization, it's also already pulled up, ready for me to edit. So say I was like, oh, we also started a food bank at my organization, and so I wanted to update that. And I also wanted to say, we don't do internships anymore, so I could deselect that. So I can edit all the things I need to because it's my organization. I've added it, and now I'm editing it on my profile. So once I've changed those things, I submit the edits, and my edits have been made. Go back to my organizations, and my organization is there, and you can see it's last updated today's date. So that's what's also great is as you continue to work, you might not have too many edits to make on your organization on a daily basis, but say you're like, oh, have we checked, like we started a youth mentoring program 6 months ago. Let me go check to see if it's updated. You can see based on the date, you're like, oh, it's probably not there because the last time that our page was updated, it was this time and our program wasn't there yet. So that's what's great. It has our last updated date on there. It will have the status once it's approved, and you can make edits at any time that you need to. All right. So again, if we go to our account settings, this is our organization. This is where you can see the position, the company that I'm working at, the login information. That's the account settings. Then on your page for your profile, you can see my organizations. You can see if I need to edit anything, I need to edit an organization, request edit access for a specific organization, or add an organization. You'll always be able to see all the organizations that are linked to your profile as well. And that's how you can participate in the provider directory. So we go back home to supportguide.org. You can see again, find a service provider. You can go here. Remember, knowing more now more than ever, knowing where to go matters. You can access and interact with the map. You can filter by county, by agency type, by services, and be able to find exactly what you're looking for that agency. And you can connect yourself, you can connect clients, you can connect community members with exactly what they're looking for. And so we are so excited to launch this out for y'all. We want you to not only use it as a tool to enhance services, to smooth out processes, to help alleviate some of the stress of everyday work, but we want you to create a free account. We want you to search for your agency to make sure it's on here, make sure it's accurate information. And we want you to request access to agencies that you need ownership over. And if your agency isn't there, we need you to add it there. So we're so excited to have this tool for you. We believe that it'll be helpful for you starting today. And we are excited for you to get to use it, request access, add agencies, and edit what we already have here. Thank you so much for watching me go through this. Thank you for your patience as well. I know it's a lot of information and a lot of watching me show you where to go on our website, but we truly hope that this will help your everyday work. And Hannah, I'll pass it over to you now.
Thank you so much. Are you able to see my screen all right?
I am able to.
Wonderful.
We're getting thumbs up. So yes, thanks, Hannah.
Great. Well, thank you, Carissa. And like we said, for those of you that might have some questions about like, how do I edit my organization or how do I search for it and things like that, that is in the support guide components, and we'll answer some of those questions that are coming into the chat as well. This is the time now for questions that you might have. And so I'll review one that has already come in and we can go over a couple as well. But one of them was, hey, is the provider directory in another, like, is it translated? Is it in another language? And Support Guide at Large is designed for service providers and agency staff. So the provider directory is in English. However, the resource finder, which is, kind of when you go to support guide, as she mentioned there on that top menu, there's a place that says resources, and that's where individuals can upload pretty much any resource in any language. We'll take a look at it, make sure it's verified that somebody's, that there's no bad actors putting things on the page or anything like that. And that's where folks can go in and find specific information in language, if that's a place that maybe a client wants to go, or you want to go find information specifically in a client language or something like that. So I wanted you to know that. And I think we had a question just in here as well. A question about how to edit. So that's being reviewed. You can take a look at the answered Q&A in there. And so, Carissa, Amy, I'm going to read a few of these as they're coming in. And so one of them says, what are the criteria for organizations to be approved on the support guides provider directory?
That's a great question. Thanks, Hannah. I can go ahead and answer that. The criteria for organizations to be approved is first and foremost that they're going to be an agency inside the state of California. This is a California specific provider directory. Second, that they're an organization that's serving the newcomer community. Now, these can be organizations that serve more than just the newcomer community, right? You may have the larger community may be a part of your target client base, but do you specifically also provide services for California newcomers? That's going to be a requirement to be in the directory. And then the last is that the profile that's being filled out has complete and accurate information. We want the service provider directory to be as useful to the community as possible, and it's only useful when it contains relevant and up-to-date information. So if there's a new organization that is submitted that perhaps has like an address and a name but doesn't provide any other information, then you're going to get a request from our team saying, hey, go ahead and provide some additional information before that's going to be approved, so that we can make sure that all of the entries are ones that are valuable to the community. So if you're in California and you're providing services to newcomers, and you're providing a complete profile of what those services look like, those are the things that are going to be under review. And of course, our team is reviewing entries to make sure that the agencies that get added are legitimate agencies that are serving the community.
Thank you. And who you're hearing from there is Amy Watson, a member of the Solvera team, who has been kind of one of the main creators of this tool. So she's the perfect one to answer kind of any technical or eligibility kind of questions. Another questions we've had come in, a reminder, you're going to get this resource, you're going to get the slides and the recording and things like that after today's session. And then the next question is, how do you recommend that we spread the word within our community to get resources to utilize this program? So let's answer that kind of in two ways. I think the first might be, hey, how do we help other agencies, maybe someone who didn't attend today, learn about this and get interested in using it? One, I would say, is we've been promoting this through the refugee forums, directly to resettlement agencies and community-based organizations who we know are directly serving ORR populations. And so that's a main way. And as we see agencies come in and claim their organization, when we see that folks maybe aren't claiming their organization or something like that, we'll be able to reach out to them directly. And hopefully everybody that's on the profile, and I think Amy, Carissa, remind me, that's 200 plus agencies right now that we know are providing services to ORR eligible populations. Is that right?
Right now, there's over 300 providers in the
300.
directory.
Okay. And thanks. So we want to say 300 because we know those are agencies that are serving ORR eligible populations, and a majority of them also have some form of language capacity, right? So when you refer a client to one of these agencies, sure, follow up and things like that. But as you saw on that profile, they're going to be able to say, hey, these are the services I provide. These are the languages that you can get to right away, and really help you do that. Crystal, if that didn't answer your question in full, let us know. We want to make sure that we're answering all questions that come up today. Also, a reminder at this point, if you have additional questions that maybe as you're percolating on this or something like that that come up, you're going to put them in the survey that's to come. And then we'll also have some office hours and things like that to support you in making this platform all that it can be for your agency in your area. And we'll talk about that after the Q&A time. We'll pause for a moment to have any folks, ask additional questions or something they might be thinking about. And remember as well that you have the option to ask anonymous questions. So if you're like, ooh, I don't want people to know it's me, but I want this answered, please ask with confidence. We want to make sure that you get all the information.
And Hannah, while we're waiting for any additional questions to come in, I will just share, I can see on the back end that you all are very successfully using the tool already. I see multiple requests for edits to come in and 5 new organizations that were just added while you watched the demo. So thanks, y'all. We're really excited to have you participate and engage in this new tool for the community.
A reminder, the site to go to get the link to edit your profile to view this is supportguide.org. So you can go there. You can go there right now. And if any of you have that chat window open and can share that, please do. Another question that has come in is, do you recommend that refugee forums are added to, oops, it just disappeared. Do you recommend that refugee forums are added to the provider directory? So at this time, the refugee forums are a coalition or a collection of agencies, right? And so when somebody goes to this website, we want them to be able to connect directly. We want them to help clients to connect directly to a provider who can administer the support that they're needing. So the forums are wonderful places for folks to come together, to share best practices, challenges, and things like that. But we want those agencies that are participating in the forums to be the ones listed on the provider directory. That way, when somebody calls, they know just who they're getting, just what they can expect, and the programs that that agency is offering. All right, well, we're going to keep going. We've got about 10 minutes. As you have additional questions that you might be thinking, go ahead and add them in the Q&A space. We can loop back to those as well. So thank you for those questions. They were fantastic. And like I mentioned, let me move over there. The next thing that you're going to have access to are office hours, right? And so that's a place where, like, hey, if you have something that comes up or you're not quite sure what to do, we're going to send you a link as a part of today's session, the follow-up, to sign up for office hours with one of our staff to help you troubleshoot or learn how to use it in another way. So you'll be able to have kind of 15-minute live help sessions. You're going to tell us what the issue is so that in advance, so we can make sure that we come to that session ready to resolve it. They're going to be Tuesdays to Fridays, and that's where you're really going to get that tailored individual support for anything that might happen or that we might not, that you might not be able to solve on your own, and that would be okay. We're here to help you. In addition, right, these sessions, we've got the provider directory, you've got a resource finder on there, you're seeing all of our prior webinars and things like that. We have future webinars coming up as well. So we've released kind of this 3 at the beginning, and then we're moving forward. Next month, you're going to get to hear about building these partnerships, right? And so we're really taking this very intentionally, right? So we've talked today about the provider directory, right? Like, how do you find who's in your area? What are they doing? And then once you know that, right, you can go deeper as an agency and go, oh, we also provide that service, or you know what, we don't provide that service, but we know a lot of individuals need it. So that's where you can start to use the provider directory to support your agency's capacity and the ability to really increase or enhance the care coordination that you're using to support clients with. Moving from there, we'll go into immigration updates and kind of what's going on with statuses, what are some updates of what's happening. And then from there, we're going to build on that by talking about navigating benefits, right? So kind of like who's eligible for what. And then the session before that, you'll just have learned well, what do those eligibility documents look like? And how are those changing in the current federal context that we find ourselves? So remember, those are the third Thursdays at 10 o'clock. And then next steps, right? What comes after this? So you're going to be emailed the resources, right? A link to support guide, and the resources will be on support guide. So webinar, the PowerPoint, the link to schedule any sessions with us. And so you can schedule these office hours. You can also schedule to just meet with us. Like, there's things that you maybe want to talk about or resources that you're not sure how to locate or find. Let us know. Our whole desire in this project is to be here to help ORR serving agencies or population serving agencies. The final thing here with this is please fill out the survey. It helps us know what went well, what you recommend that we might improve on, and it's also your place to suggest future topics. Like I said, we do read every single response that comes in, and it helps us improve. And so please take a moment to do that. You'll find that in the email, and team, if we have a chance to pop that in the chat as well, that would be great. Finally, you've got that QR code. So for those of you that have your smart device nearby, go ahead and give that a scan for that survey. You've got our email here, newcomer@solveraconsult.com. That's for general if you want to chat with us. We also have a new email specifically for the provider directory, which is directory@supportguide.org. And so you have these resources. One other thing that I want to add in the future sessions here when we talk about these things is there are some very specific, right? Immigration updates, navigating benefits. Those might be sessions that you have very specific questions about. And moving forward, you will have an opportunity to submit questions in advance that will be reviewed by the subject matter experts in advance of the session. And we'll do our best to help them address any questions that came in advance as well, if you already know some that you might have on those specific topics. All right, I also see another question that has come in and we have time to address it live. And that is, I just requested, whoops, can you go back to the emails, please? There you go, got that one. And I saw one that was answered. It says, I just requested an edit of our organization and completed the fields. And it says complete required fields. Excellent. Let's go to, there's a directory at supportguide.org and we can help you troubleshoot that. All right, you've got those emails. We'll also throw in those emails again in the chat, or they will be included in the follow-up email that you get from us. So you'll get an email from CA Newcomer at solveraconsult.com, and that's going to have all of the resources from today and additional ways that you can support and connect with this project. Any other questions? Thank you for putting those in the chat, supportguide.org, that feedback survey, and the email directly to ask questions potentially about Support Guide. All right. Well, without further ado, then we'll wrap up today's session. We really appreciate you being here. We're very excited about the launch of the provider directory, about you going in, claiming your agency, making sure that's up to date and specific and relevant to your organization. And our biggest hope in this is that people would know where to go, who's doing what, and help you find the right resources for your agency to grow stronger, for you to support the care coordination of clients. And we know that things are changing so fast. New staff are coming on, staff are exiting, things are changing. And so that this could be a way where folks kind of were able to decentralize some of the information and make it able that anybody, as far as providers and staff, can access it. So thank you for your time today. If you've got additional questions and things, let us know. But we hope you have a great day, and we're so glad that you've joined us for today's session. Take care, everyone.